Sorry.
We're gonna get started. Regular council meeting of October 17th, 2022.
With allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Mayor Laughlin.
Here.
Councilperson Sexton.
Here.
Miller.
Here.
Dean.
Here.
Gilman.
Here.
Excuse me,
What?
Goodweiler's absent.
Motion please to approve tonight's agenda. To move. All those in favor say aye. Aye. The consent agenda consists of the minutes from the October 3rd meeting, regular council meeting. Accepting the resignation of Emily Walsh from the Planning and Zoning Commission. A street finance report, claims for October 3rd and the August financial report. Motion, please.
So move. Second.
Okay, so this, it's just a state report, that street finance report, right, Heidi? It's right at the file.
Yes, yes, it is. It's a summary of what happened last fiscal year FY '22.
Okay, I do that. Anything else, anyone? Let's let's vote on the consent agenda, please.
Councilperson Dean.
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
Sexton.
Yes.
Gilman.
Yes. All right, item 7 is a presentation from Cedar County Sheriff Warren Wethington concerning police time in West Branchish.
Oh, you want Kevin up here or not either, but,
Yeah, you can put him on the spot too.
your chief approached us about contract with hours, and it's my understanding that you wanted 40 hours a week until your new person gets through the academy, and then possibly 30 hours after that. And originally I considered it, and then I just don't want to sit here and tell you that I can provide a quality product that way, you know. The deputies we have, I don't have an excess of deputies. Right now, we have one off on FMLA. We've got some training, just an example, we've got some training in November that we need to have because of the back of the blue law. It's good training, we need to have it, but there's gonna be people gone those weeks. Kevin and I have to go, and we gotta scrounge for people to cover shifts. So I think you've got the email. I didn't bring the exact figures down, but I want to help, but I can't take that much on all at once. You know, if it would help you that we cover the on-call time, you know, I just took the same equation that we use to figure the contracts for the other towns that don't have police, and then we cut it in half just to cover those. So if that would be something that would interest you, we would cover their on-call time. And it was 6,000 something a month, I think. You know, there would still be, you know, possibility that if we're tied up someplace, we might not be able to get you down here. If it's something, you know, big, probably gonna have people still get called out in court. Corey understands that, so.
So typically on-call time is like after hours? Ish, after
Well,
hours.
that's something we have to work with, find out.
Weekends.
Weekends would be bad for us, I'll tell you right up front, you know, we're short on weekends too. And weekends are the busiest, but I've got people that been there a long time, a lot of vacation, got people that take time off, so.
I think Corey and I could work something out to get the weekends to work if we had to, I'm sure, so.
I don't know if there'd be every weekend, you guys every weekend, all the time, it would be split, worked out. We'd probably have to pay something.
Yeah, we couldn't do every weekend.
Yeah.
Every time. I don't want to see your people burn out, and it's well on its way now to burn out, so. It's a growing town. You really need 6 people down here full time, but I don't know where you're gonna find them. If you could afford them, I don't know where you're gonna get them from. So,
So on-call time, would that be an hourly?
He quoted us 70 hours. So he was quoting us 70 hours to try through April, like we would try to help him out. Like taking on-call time for like the 70 hours,
That
so.
would be different than the 6155, or what would you, how would you want to do it?
I'm not gonna make any promises. We'll cover your town best we can. And that's 6,100 would be a lot cheaper for you than what it would actually should cost. But I wanna help out the city of West Branch. I wanna help out their police department. But I'm gonna have to come up with some money someplace to pay for the overtime. Cover your town.
All right, well, we'll have to see what Corey's got in his budget, and our budget.
We
and
have a
then-
180 agreement, once we figure whatever
It would
you
be
guys figure out.
2080.
Yep.
And we have that written up for the other cities.
Perfect. I'm not gonna reinvent the wheel.
It's, we cut the original figure in half just because you do have your own police department, and if something comes along that we can't handle that night, it'll be turned over to the PD. And we'll help if needed too.
So Corey, on those nights that they would be covering, would you also have somebody on call? I mean, if they, for instance, if they couldn't cover.
And, the goal would be letting him stay home, but if something
Right.
happens, we'd have to go in.
Right.
Ideally, to set it up would be, we would try to figure out and do the time when we have the most deputies out. So that's why I would want to sit with Cory and we'd work through the schedule, because there's certain times we have more deputies out than other times. And that would be the best time for us to do it, obviously.
Okay, but on-call is, you guys at home when you're on call?
No,
Us.
he's just saying, we're just
Your
taking,
guys, your guys are on call.
we're just covering your on-call time so that you don't have to call somebody out. I mean, our guys are working already, so no, it would be our guys working.
Okay, you'd be on duty.
Yeah, we'd have guys
Rest
on
of them.
duty and they would just be the guys covering the calls when they come in.
They would be able to know that night, they're probably gonna get some sleep.
Well, and our guys will know that we need to have somebody down this way, so.
Kind of stay close. Okay, well, that's a valid effort, so we,
Yeah, we definitely appreciate it.
thanks for trying.
Anything you do to help, appreciate it.
Yeah. And I wanna help, I wanna do the best I can for West Branch, but I'm not gonna come down here and tell you. If we wrote a contract where you paid for 40 hours of time to cover, that's gonna cost you more than it would an officer. And then I'd have to find one. And I'll be honest with you, that the time that we would have to cover, one deputy's not gonna cut it. So I'm just not gonna sit here and tell you that we can do a great job and it would be wonderful. You'd love it. We just wanna help you through this rough time. All right.
All right, thank
So,
you.
so the figure we're talking about, is just, that's a figure for the month, you guys cover whatever you can cover, that's,
Could be more or less than that, though. 6155,
no, that's
That's
the
it?
figure.
That's
No,
what
that's
it
the figure, but
no hourly.
no, we're
No.
just doing,
All right,
that's
okay.
covering 70 hours,
Got it.
figuring that into the schedule.
Okay. I'm sorry.
That's not, I'm not guaranteeing you there's gonna be somebody in town.
Sitting in town that whole
But-
time.
Okay.
We'll put them to have people around and about, but if a call comes in, we'll take care of it, so your people can sleep.
Thank you much. Thank you. Thanks
right,
for
thank you.
coming. CDG, we'll have you talk when, your item is up, that item is up at the end of it. On the payroll, I mean, on the roll call. So we're gonna move on to, is there anyone else here for communications open forum that would like to speak to us? That would be time for them. Pardon? No, it won't take that long. We'll wait till item number.
Yeah, you're right.
All right, hearing no speakers to the council, we're gonna move on to item 8A, second reading of ordinance 797. Rezoning certain parcel of property located at 154 Orchard Street from R1 to R2 residential district. Motion, please.
I'll move. Second.
This is the second reading, right? So, any comments, questions?
I have a question.
Go ahead.
So you might understand that the rezoning of this lot is to, there would still be two separate lots, or is this combine the two lots as one?
If they build the garage across the lot, we will have an agreement that says they can't sell the lot separately. So it will become one lot.
It'd have to become one lot.
Yeah. So why, when we combine one, so you can see, can't sell a garage by itself. They have to sign something, gets recorded, that says these two lots can only be sold as a package. They can't be sold separately. Unless they took the garage down, which I don't know why you do that, but
Or he records it as one lot. They record it.
I mean, I think they'll tax it as one lot eventually because it's all one parcel. Yeah, after that.
Yeah, and either way, both the two lots next to each other are zoned two different
Yeah.
zones. So that's why we're going through this
Mhm.
code of ordinance update.
Yep. So we'll basically be one lot.
All right, good question. Anybody else? Anything? Go ahead, Leslie.
Councilperson Dean.
Yeah.
Miller,
Yes.
Sexton.
Yes.
Stillman.
All right, second reading of ordinance 798, rezoning certain parcel of property located north of East Main Street, west of North Fourth Street from R3 residential district to a planned unit development district.
So moved.
This is the city parcel, right?
No, the city
This
parcels
is
are,
the,
this is the rest of their surrounding parcels.
It's
And-
one property that we missed.
Yeah.
Clark's maybe, the one
this
that's
is
furthest,
Mark
yeah,
property.
yep.
Got it. I thought there'd be an address.
222. Fourth Street.
Okay. All right. Any comments, questions? Anyone? Go ahead, Leslie.
Councilperson Miller,
Yes.
Sexton,
Yes.
Stillman,
Yes, sorry.
Dean.
Yes.
All right, one more second reading of ordinance 799. Establishing a historic preservation commission for the city. Providing for the recognition and promotion of the historic sites and defining powers and duties of the commission. Motion, please.
Move.
Second.
Any comments or questions? Hearing none, let's vote, please.
Councilperson Sexton.
Yeah.
Dean.
Yes.
Stillman,
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
Resolution 22-92, hiring Drew Finnegan as a streets maintenance worker for the city of West Branch and setting the salary for the position for the next fiscal year. Well, fiscal year 2023. Motion, please.
So moved.
Second.
All right, I think this is a great hire. I'm excited. So, any other comments? Go ahead.
Councilperson Dean,
Yes.
Sexton.
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Stulman.
You start tomorrow? Okay. Sweet. Resolution 22-93, approving a salary adjustment for Max Gober and Logan Seelig for the fiscal year 2023. Motion. please.
Move. Second.
This is to equalize. An equalization factor, I guess.
So I have a question.
Go ahead.
Is Max and Logan, are they all right with this?
Getting a raise?
I'm sure they'd want more, but
Why, that's why, I mean,
If
we're hiring somebody that's almost the same wage as they are, and they have CDLs, they have a couple, 3 years worth of investment already in the city, and I'm getting bumped up.
Yeah, it's kind of the climate of the job.
well, no, he's
The
being
job
fair.
climate.
He's saying if they were to get, if I were to give them any more and they start getting their certifications, that's when we'll start going over the budget. So this is as comfortable as I am today, and I did have that conversation with them.
And when's the merit pay going to effect? Is that,
July, yep, next fiscal year.
so they could be adjusted? There, okay.
All right, any other comments? Hearing none, go ahead, Leslie.
Councilperson Dean,
Yes.
Sexton,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Stulman.
All right, resolution 22-94, hiring Jerry Brick as a regular part-time public works laborer for the city, setting the salary for a position for this current fiscal year.
Move. Second.
Okay, I have a question.
Isn't it? Okay, good.
So if Jerry's required or expected, I should say, to perform the same duties as full-time, then why does he not receive the same pay as a full-time?
I would say he has more flexibility. He has another job that comes first. So say if he gets called to Iowa City Fire Department, we can't hold that against them, which we can in our current employees.
We're getting a bargain here.
Yeah, I think so too. It's working.
I don't think we're being fair to Jerry, but you're not gonna get anybody else to do the same work. And I don't agree with with the pay. But
Is this a one-year contract? Is this a contract?
This
or
is not a
this
contract.
Not a contract. Well, I guess if someone
But
wants.
he's
so-
part-time now, but he's not getting IPers and.
Correct.
That
Correct,
gives him IPers and everything else.
correct. Because right now he's under seasonal. This would make him all year round, so then he'd have to
He
get.
gets all
IPers.
those benefits.
Correct.
so he will pick up IPers?
Mhm. So he gets all the benefits of a full-time employee, just.
Not all.
No.
Right, so he doesn't get all the benefits. I still don't agree. If Jerry's all right with it, I mean,
Do I have a motion? Okay. Let's vote, Leslie.
Councilperson Sexton,
Yes.
Dean,
Yes.
Stulman,
yes,
Miller.
Yes.
All right, let's, 22-95 resolution, approving a pay estimate number 3 in the amount of $1,265,515.11. Boomerang Corporation for the wastewater treatment facility. Motion. My only question on this, Dave, is the materials stored. Of. Have they been paid for materials stored of like 1.379?
Yeah, we have quite a bit of material, they have piping, blowers.
Where does that get rolled into the pay though? It's not in this payout.
All of us there includes the work on the base plus materials stored.
Material stored is 1.3, but this payout is 1.28.
So the work done is 1.28, material stored is 1.3, and you have the. 2.666.
2.6, I'm sorry. Got it. All right. Thank you. Anything else, anyone?
So after this, we will pay them a total of $2.5 million of the eight. Whatever it is, 8.8.
2.53.
A lot of money to go.
They have the eastern hole. Is there more to dig on that? The eastern lagoon of the two?
They have some work to do in there, that's where the Sager cells are. So they'll start forming and putting in the rock.
Okay. Because it's a lot smaller than the western. That's where the expansion. Okay.
That's when the big
Okay. Anything else, anyone? Go ahead, Leslie.
Councilperson Sexton?
Yeah.
Dean?
Yes.
Stulman?
Yeah.
Miller?
Yes.
All right, let's talk music. Resolution 2296, approving a performance contract with Jake McVeigh, Purple Cow Records, for Hoover's Hometown Days, 2023, in the amount of $4,500. Motion, please. Second? Okay. Who crossed, this is their contract? They crossed out 3 hotel rooms and a 5-person,
Yep.
they stay in
Well, they live in
Washington.
Washington.
They
Yeah,
still
I
stay
think
at
they-
home. One of them is.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, those things that they struck were things that I
They struck
struck
that.
before no, I struck them because they gave me their
Oh.
standard. That's just typical. He's on, they're on the road. Their manager probably watches, over 3 different, so they sent the standard one. So I asked them to strike a couple of those out.
Okay.
So,
They agree to it?
yeah. Yes, no, they were understanding.
Good job. Okay.
What do we normally pay for
It's about 3,400 between 2 bands. So,
Fire department's
Fire department's not gonna have a band on Saturday.
correct.
So
So,
this guy's really good. He's probably a $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 night band, and someone in the community has asked me to do a favor. Yeah, he's based out of Nashville. He's had records in the top 10.
This is gonna be at the fire station,
Yeah.
so it's standing, acid.
You might have to think about.
we
that.
might
I would
have
think
to.
so.
We're trying to figure that out.
This guy plays at the free stage at the Riverside Casino. That ain't very, it's barely bigger than this room. So he plays at Wildwood. That's not very big.
All right, do I get a motion? Let's go ahead and vote, please.
Councilperson Dean,
Yes.
Sexton.
Yeah.
Miller,
Yes.
Stulman.
Resolution 22-97, approving a partial acquisition agreement with the West Branch School District. Motion, please. For the roundabout.
Moved.
Looks like about 20,000 square feet. Didn't think it'd be that much.
Yep.
Okay. I think they vote on it next Monday.
They're voting on it right now.
That's tonight.
They're doing a special work session.
Wow.
So we can make sure we have it, they can do their bits and everything. Allegedly.
Okay, any other questions? Go ahead.
Councilperson Miller,
Yes.
Sexton.
Yeah.
Stulman. Dean.
Yeah.
All right, item 9 is concerning the community development group, director position. Accepting and placing on file a Main Street Executive Director / Community Development job description. So I guess now I would ask CDG, a couple of representatives, Nikki and Stacy, to tell us what your thoughts are.
I thought we were way later, so I'm like, oh, no.
Yeah, we're-
It's pretty good. Good evening. My name is Stacy Waters, and I am the chair for the promotions committee in West Branch Community Development Group. And as you may know, West Branch Community Development Group is a nonprofit, volunteer-driven organization working through the combination of public, private, and commercial interests to strengthen our historic Main Street district for the benefit of our community as a whole. We utilize the Main Street 4-point approach, which is a community-driven and comprehensive strategy that encourages economic development through design, economic vitality, promotion, and organization committees. Since our conception in 2006, there has been over a $5 million capital investment into the downtown district. And this, of course, has helped to increase property taxes. Since Jesse has started in 2020, which of course was in the middle of a pandemic, we have been able to secure grant money, which has been just under $100,000 so far. And we have the equivalent of that anticipated to be rewarded by the end of this year then too. The challenge grant, which is the project on the Opera Block building, just wrapped up, and it included more than $150,000 of added investment into the historic building. Not only do projects like this improve the vibrancy of our community, but like I said, it also increases the property tax revenues for the city. We have had about $30,000 in sponsorship support, and that did not include what Jesse helped with on the hometown days, Hoover's hometown days. Our fundraising efforts in those 2 years have been about $113,000. And our volunteer hours, which are one of the most valuable resources we have, and our organization maximizes them. This year, so far, we have reported more than 1,100 hours, and that equates to about $33,000 in value to the city. With Christmas past on the horizon, of course, those will increase. Our committees, all 4 of our committees work year-round, and our director plays a key role in engaging and leveraging this free labor. Successful fundraising allowed us to hire a marketing firm this year to strategically expand efforts to advertise and promote West Branch as a destination to eat, shop, and explore, and also to visit, work, and live in the city. This work supports the city at a foundational level. Since the pandemic, we've helped welcome 8 new businesses in downtown West Branch. We've worked hard to provide the resources to help our local businesses survive the pandemic and thrive with access to training, networking, and coaching. Supporting these local businesses and promoting West Branch as a destination to eat, shop, and explore increases sales tax revenue for the city. And at this time, we only have 2 vacant storefronts. And of course, we know those are the winery and the Mexico window building. Yep. Ends of our- We work collaboratively to put together the proposal in your packet. It's a 25-15 hour split. It includes benefits from the city because with only 1 employee at West Branch Community Development Group, we can't competitively offer benefits. But this will allow the executive director to continue what she is doing today. And we are at an important crossroads in our community as we face major growth over the next few years. It's critical that we are strategically engaging residents to ensure this growth intensifies community instead of diluting it. Our proposal positions us to ensure that West Branch Community Development Group and the city can effectively work together to embrace growth and maintain the sense of community that makes West Branch so special. Absolutely.
Okay, I'm Nikki Brick, Board President of West Branch CDG. And so as Stacy outlined, we've made a tremendous amount of strides, especially since the pandemic hit, just to maintain our downtown and make sure that we took care of our small businesses particularly, so that we didn't lose anybody through all of that. But as you can tell, and the reason for kind of Stacy's synopsis, because we know you guys all know this, we know you understand what we do as an organization. But we feel like we are just scraping the surface, that there's so much more that can be done. But with a part-time executive director, it's really difficult for us to take things to the next level. And so as we've been talking as a group in terms of what looks like the best partnership for us to get this position to a full-time role where we can dedicate the full 40 hours to the community, the city of West Branch, it's a good fit. And so you all obviously though have the top of your mind is return on investment. So, essentially what are you going to get for that? Because obviously it's the taxpayers that you report to. And so what we've put together is kind of just some top bullet points out of the packet. So this is all part of the job description, but we think it's really important just to focus in on what does that return on investment look like for the $7,400 that we're looking for. So that $7,400 is essentially the additional that would need to come out of city funds beyond the benefit package. And so we would be looking for this joint role to be possible in July of 2023, which is why our ask is tonight. The ask tonight is not to necessarily nitpick or get into the nitty-gritty details of the actual proposal itself, because it would end up being a 28E agreement as well. And so all of that stuff could come later. Tonight's ask is really simply to let Mayor Laughlin and City Administrator Kofod continue the discussions with the West Branch Community Development Group to continue to pursue this as an alternative. And we know there's a lot up in the air. So December really is a whole new ballgame when you guys look at what new revenues are coming in and where the financials sit. And so this allows us to be proactive and put this in front of you now to continue those discussions so that if we are able to fund this as a community and it works, that we're in a position to move it forward to be ready for the budgeting. So when you look at the document, the big returns on investment that are part of the job description would be, this role would be the leader of Hoover's Hometown Days. So it would take it over fully as the leader. Part of what we look to do is try to alleviate some of the work that the city leaders are currently doing. So we know Parks and Recs, she's got so much on her plate. And so whatever we could do to help take off from her, it would streamline that festival to drive efficiency. It would also provide a dedicated fundraising leader, and it would allow us to use our 501c3 status to do that fundraising, which always increases the give. So we think that would be a good move forward for the city as well. Jesse is phenomenal at grant writing. As Stacy mentioned, we've already acquired $200,000 in grants just in the last 2 years. Yeah, with, like she said, mentioned another really exciting thing coming that we can't give all the details about tonight, but before the end of the year. And so, but we also want to make sure that this isn't about just Jesse Simon. This is about the role itself. So what we would be looking for in this position, and it's clear in the job description, is this person would need to have that skill set go forward to be able to support the needs of the city. We also have the 2 grant opportunities through the ECIA, but nobody really from the city that has the bandwidth to basically contribute to leading those efforts. So this role could do that as well. It could get our bang for our buck out of those 2 grants that we get as part of that package that we pay for through them, which is a wonderful collaborative effort with them already. Jesse already works with them. So that's just a good fit. And it also would allow the city to continue to have accessibility to the grants that are exclusive to us because we are a Main Street community, which is huge. There's a large bucket of money within the state of Iowa that they're just looking to give out to the Main Street communities that nobody else is eligible for. So it gives us that opportunity. The certified local government is definitely a priority of the Historic Preservation Commission. You guys just reinstated tonight, so thank you. And this role could help maintain those standards, take some of the lift off of Adam. And just with his time commitments and with the growth that the city has coming, he could focus on the more important things, and she could help with agendas, meeting scheduling, and just the overall movement of that CLG forward with all the work that's being done behind it. And then the community visioning projects. This to us is super important. The community spoke, and the 3 projects that are labeled as part of this are all in the downtown district, which is huge, but we are also going to need a point person to lead those. And so this also would make perfect sense that this role could help pick up that and could run the charge with those. So, and for those who don't know, the 3 projects were Heritage Square, rerouting the trucks off of Main Street, and then the major streetscape projects downtown. So those were all 3 things. And so there's a lot more in the job description. It's meant to be super prescriptive because this position would report to 2 entities. So it would report to the board of directors with CDG, and then it would also report directly to Adam. And so it would definitely be a collaborative role that could support both parties, but in an effort to move the city forward. So what questions, does anybody have any questions about that so far? And if not, that is perfectly fine. Okay. So as you look over the list, though, I guess one thing I would ask you to do is as you review it, if we didn't move forward with this combined role, and all of these things are on the priority list for the city to try to tackle in the next fiscal year and beyond, who would own these? Where does the bandwidth come from? And that's where we think that our collaboration with the city can be so vital here, because everything Jesse does today benefits the community and the city. It's just really an extension of what she's already doing and allowing her to go that step beyond and really be able to deep dive into some of the city's needs as well, while alleviating the stress that is on some of the city staff right now. Okay, so no questions?
I just did a quick, so 15 hours a week for 52 weeks. At $7,400 for the whole 52 weeks is about $9.50.
Well, you're talking,
Did I do that
remember,
right?
benefits would be
Well, yeah,
what we're paying.
correct. Which we're hoping there's another 11,000.
So the question I'd have would be,
18 bucks.
for taking over some of the city's role, how much time do you have involved, or the city have involved with things that Jesse would be taking over? Do you have any rough idea how many hours?
It's hard to quantify. And the reason why it's hard to quantify, because I just skim to get it done. So I get it done. So I took over and am now leading Gruber Hometown Days. It's not a lot at the moment, but it will be a lot in 2 months. And same with like historic preservation. Yes, I meet quarterly, but I'm just scratching the surface. So, and what I mean by that is we're not necessarily going after West Branch's strengths if it's a last stop for me to do is, oh yeah, quarterly meeting for historic preservation. I think that's where the value is. I don't think, you know, there's always gonna be hundreds of things on my plates. It's just, you know, is it just skimmed off the top and we just do the bare minimum? Or do we invest a little bit more? And that kind of comes down to dollars and cents when we
But
get into.
So. if This would happen, would you, I'm assuming you would coordinate with Jesse a lot more.
Correct.
For the,
Correct.
on what she would be expected
Correct.
from what you were doing. You
Correct.
just say, Jesse, this is yours, take it over.
Correct. So even thinking historic preservation, I grabbed the easiest thing I could, and that was to redo the historic preservation ordinance and just throw in traveler's rest while we're doing it. To get a CLG certified, you're talking, you know, man hours plus working with volunteers. If you're talking, say, Hoover Hometown Days, you're talking donations and fundraising. Hopefully, with their help, we can get more, because it's not like people want to donate to a city. And then it begs the question, you know, if we're behind on some things like work orders or planning and zoning requests, and you've got myself and Roger knocking on businesses' doors trying to get money, you know, it kind of, where do you want our priorities to be? Is partially where I see it. So even now, with, say, the expansion of the mobile home park, they're now, you know, they're doing all these public information requests. You know, those are all back burners. Anytime somebody refinances, I have to, you know, explain in a 3-page letter. Here's what it's owned. Do they have problems? Here's all their permits. So there's all this, you know, stuff that I'm behind on, or say even helping follow up with some of the admin stuff, maybe on the public works side, so they can get, Matt can be a little bit more hands-on. It just really, I mean, really comes down to, I would say, dollars and cents, if we can do it or not in the budget. But would we get a value? Yes, we'd get a value with the help of CDG, one way or another. It's just, I'm just kind of skimming to get it done, and I don't know if that's the best strategy to take when it comes to historic preservation. I mean, but I would say that, and then, yes, we were just talking with Kevin, Washington, City of Washington does this model where their Main Street director is technically a city employee. So then they get the benefits, healthcare benefits and all that. So to try and answer it, I can't really put a number of hours, but I can find something for them to do, no question.
And we don't just get Jesse for this position to be generic. We get 15 hardworking volunteers that do some of the tasks also.
In
These
a big
people-
volunteer base.
These people
Yeah,
work
yeah.
hard. And she's got that power behind her, that help behind her that really makes the whole group sing, in my mind.
And the last thought that I keep forgetting to remind, but CDG, where we could potentially use help, is on the fire department EMS side, getting more volunteers or donations. Having somebody that's a little bit more experienced on that side, I think would hopefully help, even if they're just, you know, organizing, say, a fundraiser, which takes some burden off of us on the general fund if we're able to get more in donations. Even if that's them organizing some sort of, you know, community-wide. I know we're stretched thin on fire department volunteers. But if, say, Lions Club were to help out, or, you know, another club was to help out, theoretically, if it does work that way, then we'd be getting more in donations, which would alleviate some of the general fund pressures we have on the fire department EMS side. Again, has to work in reality, but in theory, there could be help on that end.
And I would just say with our volunteer base as well, of course, we are here to welcome the new community members into the city, which gives us a chance to be able to show all the ways to volunteer in the city, and that is for the fire department and, just kind of get those new people tapped in right away.
I want to also, as Adam knows, we spoke about it. I do have some concerns. I think we have other priorities that take precedent. As you know, we are in need of a police officer, if not one, two. We are missing, we've had to cut some part-time people from Public Works. I know Melissa could use the help, in Parks and Rec as well. Right now, Jamie is only working a few hours during the week. There's on-call pay for fire. These are all concerns that I've talked to Adam about. So as a finance officer, I'm not sure if we are ready yet to get this July 1st of 2023. I think there's a lot of other priorities, in my opinion, that we need to figure out how to fund. And this is something that we can talk, later in detail, but I just wanted to put it out there.
No, and Heidi, I totally understand. And when we looked at the list that Adam put together for the council to consider, in terms of like things that you guys should have on your mind. I mean, I'm an HR professional. That list is brutal and I know what you guys are up against and it's hard. And, but what I would say is I think the one thing that's maybe missing from the list is what are the taxpayers asking for? Because we really also need to think about the community and we're growing so fast. So we really went back and forth about knowing what you guys are up against. Is this the right time? Because we know you guys have hard decisions ahead of you and we know December revenues may not look as great as you think they're going to, but we just really feel like we need to continue the conversation because if we wait another fiscal year, we'll be behind the 8 ball. I mean, we've got so much coming now, guys. I mean, look at everything that's happening and we don't want to become North Liberty where people just start making decisions randomly and then we end up with kind of a mess with all the growth happening. And we want to make sure that we keep a focus on our downtown because it's so important and it's the vibrant hub of any small community. And so, totally understand, Heidi. I mean, your comments are spot on. So, I mean, we hear you. And what we don't want to do is be in competition with anything on that list because we know that EMS and fire are top priority. Like we get it. We totally get it. We don't feel like it has to be a competition. We feel like this return on investment is great enough that it makes sense. And we also know that there's some other organizations that we're funding that maybe we're not getting as much for our investment as what we could, should we divert some money this direction. So.
All right. Anybody?
Colton, you had your hand
I'm
up.
sorry. Raise your hand.
I had my pen up for like 20 minutes.
No, he's lost his train of thought.
No, the hotel motel tax, what kind of revenue does it bring? These are all great ideas, but at the end of the day, we can sit here and talk about it all day long. If we don't have a method of paying for it, then, I just heard we need 6 officers. People are getting burned out. We can't keep 4, we need to hire 2 more. That may not have come across in the market study you guys did, that people want to be protected, but I think it's implied, so that, they don't put it on their wish list. Yeah, so if the hotel tax would cover the amount, that's what it's there for.
And it would not, Colton, it would not cover it.
Not,
No,
because we already give them half of it anyway.
that's correct.
Okay.
Because we got to remember, this is on top of what we're already giving them as well.
Right.
Well, my question was,
Yeah, yep.
this
So
is on top.
yes, because the 10,000 investment, which is the minimum that the state of Iowa requires for us to maintain our
Right.
accreditation. So that still has to
And to have the accreditation is where the grant opportunities and that kind of stuff that we've brought in over $200,000.
So, I mean, I'm all for trying to make it happen, but,
Best we can do
I'm
is
also
look
I'm
at the
also
budget.
interested in a fifth officer and maybe a sixth one
Absolutely.
Understandable.
that we can't
Yeah.
afford, so.
So, and we hear you, and that's exactly where we sit too. We get it. And again, you know, you have a ton of hard decisions between now and budget finalization. So our ask for tonight is just to allow the mayor and city administrator to keep the conversation going. No decisions have to be made tonight about this proposal itself or whether you're doing it or not doing it. It's more so just to allow us to continue the discussion.
We'll get into it January. Right. pretty heavily.
And if anyone has any other questions after digesting the packet, just let us know. We're happy to return anytime or answer any questions that you have. So, thank you. Thank you. Appreciate your time.
That was another question I had. I know we have a little pot of money that they always say the benefits comes out of that. We have all kinds of money there because we can levy for it and stuff like that. So truth be told, this benefit cost of $11,760, that's not money that really is going to have to come out of our general fund because it's going to be a levied amount,
Correct.
correct?
Correct, and if our health plan that we just went to performs as should, there'd be an extra gap right there.
So then at the end of the day, we really are only talking about $7,410.63 per se.
And that's why the conversation's gone as far, as it has, otherwise.
So how much money is the hotel motel bringing in annually?
It's average 20,000. It's possible it could be more than that this year.
Or less?
Well, I'm just telling you the first couple quarters, but we'll see after the 4 quarters are done. Could have just been we get it, hotel motel money in quarters. Every 3 months we get from.
It's been
So
18 to 22.
they've
last
been
year.
more favorable this past quarter, but I don't know if that's because of construction projects or whatnot.
So do we have more obligations with that money besides just the 50% or 10,000 minimum that we give them? Is there other financial strap obligations?
We are putting 25% down for, say, Heritage Square or whatever downtown visioning project comes through. And the other 25% is savings.
Which we would not like the money to be diverted out of the Heritage Square, because we're completely.
Because that's your
supportive.
project, right?
Right, yeah, so we are 100% behind that.
So
can we look at what our projects are for the year next year? And I mean, maybe there's some that
We'll get into it in January, February.
Yep,
We'll get
we've
into it.
started internally, staff talking about that just this morning. And we'll start sending that up for your guys' opinion in November and comments November, December. So,
I'm not against this by any means. But, I mean, you guys know as well as I do, public safety comes first. I would love to be able to do this, and I would love the grant writing. I mean, if we could have the grant writing and justify the grant writing or whatever on our projects, I mean, it may pay for itself.
hold on, who's them clowns we talk about getting rid of every year?
they're right around 7.
Shedco or whatever
Yeah,
you
we're,
call
that's not calling clowns, but, yeah, they're just under 7,000.
That crossed my mind too.
That's already in my back pocket too, so.
I'll throw in the extra 600 of the donation.
Okay, we got possibilities, so. We're gonna keep talking about it. All right, thank you. We're gonna move on. Halloween date and time.
Is it, Roger? It's your show.
It's gotta be Halloween night. I've always done 5 days, I think.
We gotta do
Is
it
that
at
right?
Christmas. You can just sit any day you want, huh?
I always like Halloween night.
Around the 47.
Yeah, I could.
See, that's what happens is
Yeah.
everybody starts throwing out times and then
Thanks a
nobody knows when it is.
It's
It
3 to
starts showing
6,
up
So
okay?
maybe a little walk downtown from 4 to 6-ish, maybe.
Well, yeah,
on-
downtown, do theirs first.
I don't know if that's Friday after school
Yeah.
or. Yeah, so the kids will be wearing their costumes to Monday to school, I think.
Yeah,
I think, I'm not sure of that.
I think that's the date that I got for my daughter's like Halloween party.
My wife works there.
So, yeah.
So they could roll right out of school, come downtown for, I don't know if we're doing hot dogs again. Hot dogs and, right. Yeah, trick or treat downtown, then go trick or treat in your house. So,
We have,
Hi,
we have a
um,
meeting that night?
Oh, that's it.
it's
Extra
the
Monday.
5th Monday.
Oh, yeah.
yeah. 5 to 8. Good, no argument. City administrator.
As mentioned, we just started the strategic planning process, so November, December, we should start talking. Your guys' priorities along with staff's. Budget workshop is coming into play November 3rd. So we'll get an update from the state in terms of what the market's looking like. And what our new legislation that may be affecting our budget. And tomorrow, I guess just to keep you updated, since we were talking Hoover Hometown Days, we are having J&M display come tomorrow afternoon to talk fireworks. So just letting you know on my end that we are trying to leverage getting the best bang for our buck and give fireworks.
Would you guys prefer a longer show? If we could get a longer show? Or go higher? We don't need to go
I
any higher.
personally would prefer a Main Street executive director
Let's think of the
that
same
can
thing.
write a grant for fireworks.
Pay for the fireworks.
I thought you were gonna say, we'd rather have police officer.
Then she could go. She could go out and get money for the fireworks.
No, that's kind of
Well-
a stickler point that the public talks about, but just know, I think we gotta ask questions with how much we're giving.
All right, anything else? Kevin?
Nope.
Nope. Jay?
Go through a few projects here. I-80 utilities, that's under the bridge. We need to relocate the water main and 2 force mains. We're on hold on that project. DOT has figured that if they put fill material in, that the existing bridge piers experience what's called down drag, and it'll cause settlement. So they don't want us to move forward with the utilities because they may need to do some additional excavation there and try to protect those, which would interfere with what we have in place. So they would have to have us move it again. So until they get that figured out, they've told us just to hold off on that project until they have a final design. They've gone through about 3 or 4 iterations and we've redesigned accordingly, but we're currently on hold. That's been,
Or we've been paying you though. But we gotta get reimbursed for,
yes, everything that is associated with that project is reimbursed through DOT.
so that contract, I guess it's a moot point now, because it had the confusing language.
That was a different agreement. We just needed to make sure that we had language in there that didn't interfere with their previous agreement where they would reimburse for all costs associated with that. So that language has been modified and that's all been reviewed and approved. So likely we'll be looking at a winter, finishing up the design and letting that in the spring. I know we've mentioned that several times that we've had it designed and we're waiting to get final approval, but the latest on that is that they want us to hold until they get their design finalized. Creek widening project, we've ran the new HECRAS modeling with the combined projects and everything looks pretty good. In fact, 7G is going through and making some minor revisions based off the service we provided them after we made some adjustments and should have that pretty close here shortly. I know we're also working through trying to get everything squared away as far as property acquisition and easements. So hopefully here in the next month or so, we'll have that pretty close where we can do a presentation and explain what's on that project. Wastewater plant, as you mentioned earlier, there's a pretty big hole out there. That's the West Lagoon. They have the Sager excavated as well. We're waiting on some components. Piping is difficult. Some of the components have 10 to 12 weeks. Some are 30 to 40 weeks. So just trying to piece everything together with what's available and keep that moving. Currently, they're hauling sludge out of what's currently the west operating lagoon. And we'll continue to do that. They anticipate possibly next week switching to the other lagoon and try to have that done here in the next couple of weeks. Once they have those cleaned out, we can start working on putting the aeration equipment and doing some of the new work in those.
With the difficulty with the piping, are they asking for any substitutions?
We've looked at alternative materials. We do have a couple of items that we're going to have to work with them on as far as trying to make it work based on what's available. So we're continuing to have regular conversations on that so that we keep the schedule moving. So we'll probably be back here with some minor adjustments just to be able to make that go. The roundabout project, spoke with Anderson Bogart today. We're hoping in the next couple of weeks we have all of the right-of-way acquired that we need to, and we can put that out to bid. So they're going through their final review on the plans, and the utilities are all coordinated as far as where they need to relocate. As soon as we get the right-of-way completed, they'll begin doing their relocations while we're in the bid process. East side water main, we're working through survey and preliminary design on that, and that's the part that would be street reconstruction and some of the things that would be SRF eligible. So the other item that I continue to work on is we get permits in pretty regularly. We have review on those. Work with staff.
Building permit?
Questions? Thank you.
All right, any other city staff? We got Matt, Melissa. Thanks, Warren. Matt, Melissa, or Heidi? Hearing none, I think that goes to us. I can't think of anything I wanted to bring up, so any of you guys?
Came back from fire call. Med call from Scott Boulevard today, and we came down local road on the gravel, and we stopped and talked with Johnson County engineer. They're gonna start paving on Thursday. I don't hold much faith in that.
Is a machine there yet?
No, they don't have anything, nothing's done.
I drove it Sunday and it seems like some soft spots. Seems like a lot of soft spots.
32-minute commute to get home the other day, like 30
From
minutes.
here?
No, or like
Oh,
here,
sorry
trying to,
about that.
had to go to West Branch and back down the gravel. Every road's closed.
All right, anybody, anything else? Go ahead, Joey.
I wish those guys would have seen. But, so I've been scratching some numbers. And I have a real hard time paying $38.46 an hour for on-call in Cedar County. When we don't even pay our full-time officers that. And we're just getting on call, like they said, they're not gonna be here. They're gonna be out in the county.
So you took the 61.55, how many hours?
You divide that by 40 hours a week. I mean, I get that we pay on call, we get paid we pay more than their hourly wage. I get that. I just. I would love the help, yes. I pay any officer in the state $30 an hour to come help us. But to pay $38 when you don't even know if you're gonna have somebody, for sure. I can't do that when I've got community members wanting to help us and we can't even get them on board. We need more officers. Right there is part of our money. I don't know, I just had to voice my opinion.
All right, thank you. Anybody, anything else? Motion to adjourn, anyone? Like, all those in favor say aye.